So, Skull and Bones, the game that took Ubisoft over a decade to get released. I played this game quite a lot when it first launched, and I then didn't play for, I think it was around 10 months. But here we are, 2025, and I went back and played Skull and Bones. And the main reason I went back is because there have been talks about them carrying on with development of the game. They're going to be jumping into year 2, and I wanted to see what they have changed in almost a year. And to be completely honest, not much has changed. There's barely any new content or anything like that. But I will say, what they have done with the game is incredible, because I would say, like, the main focus of what it seems as though they've done with the game is quality of life. And that is a really, really good thing to focus on if you're not making new content. But with the game being live service, I feel it should have more in the game at this point. Not only because it's been nearly a year since I last played, but also because the talks of year 2 and what they're going to be doing doesn't seem to include that much new content either. In fact, the last time I played this game was when they added the races, and I couldn't help but laugh. The racing was the worst idea they probably could have come up with for the game, in my opinion. And I think it shows quite clearly that this game is not doing that well. They were like boasting, what was it, 1 million players over the launch weekend or something like that, and what they didn't mention was the fact that they had like a free weekend, so they're going to have a bunch of people trying the game regardless. But it's got to the point now, because this was originally a £70 game. I remember Ubisoft gave me 3 copies of the game, one for myself, if I remember correctly. I think it was 1 for myself and 2 to give away, or there might have been 3 to give away, and they were the premium editions, like the ultimate editions or whatever. They were £95 copies of the game. Whereas nowadays, fast forward a year, and the main base game I think is £35, and for the ultimate edition, the biggest edition of the game, which I believe comes with all the year 2 stuff, as well as everything else, I think is now going to cost £70 for the biggest edition. So they have massively reduced the price. And if the game was that popular and that successful, I don't think they would have done that. But in terms of the quality of life, I absolutely loved it. I don't know if I ever changed the setting. I don't think I did, because there's a setting in the game where, say for an example, you go up to a coconut tree, you go to harvest it, you can do the quick time event, the right trigger thing, and if you hit it in the purple or the green, you're going to get extra products, materials or whatever. And I don't think I ever changed the setting. I don't know if the game's changed it or if they just completely removed it. But going on there, all I have to do now is hold down Y and it gathers all the resources. But I think if they have removed having to press your right trigger, it's obviously going to upset some people that want to do the quick time event. But I think that's a decent sort of quality of life change. If they have done that, as I said, I'm not sure. I don't think I ever turned it off because I quite enjoyed the quick time event. But then, to make it easier to harvest all the resources, just holding down Y is such a time saver. And I mean, Ubisoft love their time savers. One thing I did notice as well, talking about time savers, not the time savers themselves, I don't even know if they've got any in the store, but the cosmetics, they're still going strong, which is typical of Ubisoft. They absolutely love a cosmetic store, and they are still going strong. Again, we're talking AAA game prices at launch. I know they've been reduced now, but I don't think they should be full of season passes and also full of cosmetics and things like that you can purchase. But then back to the quality of life stuff, one thing I noticed, which was a massive annoyance earlier in the game's life cycle, was all of the different sea monsters and stuff. They would just hardly ever show up. It would be a struggle to find them. We would have to manually locate them all. But now you open up that map and wow, the thing is polluted with different icons for the elite ships, the sea monsters. I don't know if the ghost ships are still around or anything like that, but the sea monsters and everything have their own icons. You can start their events. They've made it so much easier for the people that are looking for those teeth and things like that from the monsters that you can go trade in and get some cool stuff with. And then I'm going to say the biggest quality of life improvement I saw, and I tried looking this one up to see when they did it, and there's barely any talks about it. But it's something that the Division 2 players were talking, they were asking for years, and then Massive Entertainment basically locked it behind a paywall. And that is an increase to your capacity of the warehouse. In The Division 2, players wanted a stash increase for years. The devs said it was far too much work, like it wouldn't work on the game engine. They were unable to do it. Fast forward 6 years, they released it, but they locked it behind the Warlords DLC and the Year 1 Pass. They locked something behind the Year 1 Pass in Year 6. And I don't even know if you can purchase the Year 1 Pass anymore, but what they have done with Skull and Bones is they increased the warehouse capacity. I remember it was at like 200. I think there was a way to get it to like 210 or something like that in the game. I loaded back into the game for the first time in almost a year, remembering that my warehouse was almost full up. I kept having to basically chuck away the small stuff. Like I'd have to go sell some of my things, and I would have to throw stuff away and discard it because I just had no space. I went back on, there's an extra 100 slots. So my warehouse has a 310 capacity. And I think that is absolutely fantastic for those players that are still grinding this game out, still playing, new players and stuff. I think that's really, really good that they have done that. And I believe Year 2 starts very soon. Someone left a comment on a video saying that there's going to be like a major update or something like that in April. So what I'm going to do is keep my eyes open for that. Because, I mean, like I'd done pretty much all of the content. I did all the manufactories and everything like that. That's one thing I believe they're bringing into the game, where you can fund all your manufactories at the same time. So again, it's more quality of life. But if there's like barely any new content, I don't know what I would do in the game. So I'm going to have to wait and see what actually comes to the updates and things like that they do. But in terms of quality of life, I think they're definitely, like, they've taken the game in the right direction in terms of its quality of life. In terms of the content, I don't see much new in the game, if anything at all, really. However, it was very nice to be able to find those sea monsters easily, join events with other people, take the sea monsters down, get the teeth. I did really enjoy that. So yeah, I went back, I played Skull and Bones in 2025, enjoyed it. However, with the minimal amount of new content and stuff, there's not really much for me to do in the game. So what I'll do is probably revisit for the Year 2 updates, see what they're about and stuff, and just keep you guys in the loop if I do find anything significant to talk about. And what we're going to do on that note is leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about Skull and Bones in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it.